It's 2:47 in the morning. The world outside is quiet. The streets are empty. Most of the city is asleep, but you're not. You've already turned over 3 times. You've stared at the ceiling. You've checked your phone, even though you know it's a bad idea. And now you're just lying there, exhausted, yet wide awake. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. Insomnia affects millions of people every single night, especially those over the age of 35. But the question that often goes unanswered is why? Why does sleep seem to vanish just when we need it most? When life gets busier, our responsibilities grow heavier, and our bodies begin to change. If you're between 35 and 70, chances are you've tried more than one thing to reclaim your sleep. Maybe you've had nights where you reached for a sleep aid thinking, just this once. Maybe you've downloaded apps, played white noise, drank chamomile tea, or tried to tire yourself out with late-night TV. And still, there you are, awake, tired, frustrated, and unsure of what's really going on. But what if I told you that your body is actually trying to tell you something? What if this relentless battle with insomnia isn't a failure of willpower, or age, or even a medical condition, but a signal? A message from your body that something deeper needs to be addressed? Today, we're going to unpack the truth about insomnia. Not the watered-down version, not the one that tells you to count sheep or just relax. We're going to explore why sleep truly escapes you, what's happening inside your body and brain, and what science and medicine, particularly through the wisdom of voices like Dr. Ben Carson, have discovered about the real nature of restorative sleep. Dr. Carson, world-renowned neurosurgeon, understands something that many people overlook. The brain is not simply a machine. It's a living, responsive system, constantly communicating with the rest of the body. And sleep is one of the most powerful ways that this system repairs itself. When that repair is interrupted, night after night, our mental, emotional, and physical health begin to suffer in ways we often don't even realize. But the most important thing is this: it doesn't have to stay this way. In this video, you will learn not only the hidden causes of insomnia, but also what you can begin doing today to shift the way your body and mind approach sleep. You'll discover what no one tells you about why your sleep has changed with age, why sleep medications can actually worsen the problem over time, and how certain natural mechanisms in your body can be reawakened to restore balance, calm, and true rest. No gimmicks, no miracle cures. Just deep, well-researched, practical guidance that could truly change the way you sleep and live. So stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand more about your sleep than most doctors will ever explain in a single appointment. And once you understand what your body has been trying to say, you'll finally be able to listen and give it exactly what it's been needing all along. Let's begin. There's a question that many people silently carry as they grow older. Why does something as natural as sleep become so unnatural? Why, as we age, does falling asleep become a task, staying asleep a challenge, and waking up rested a rare occurrence? The answer lies not in one single cause, but in a cascade of subtle changes happening inside your body, most of which begin long before you even notice them. First, we need to understand the body's internal clock. This clock is called the circadian rhythm, and it's the natural cycle that regulates our sleep and wake patterns. When we're young, this clock is sharp and responsive, syncing perfectly with daylight, temperature, and daily activity. But as we reach our 40s and beyond, that clock begins to drift. It becomes less sensitive to cues from the environment. The rhythm weakens. The signals that once clearly said, "It's time to sleep," now come through muffled, delayed, or disrupted entirely. One major player in this shift is melatonin, the hormone often referred to as the sleep hormone. Melatonin production naturally decreases as we age. In our younger years, the brain releases melatonin in response to darkness, gently guiding the body into rest. But by the time we reach our 50s or 60s, the levels have diminished significantly. Even if the room is dark, even if you feel tired, your body may not be producing enough melatonin to initiate and maintain sleep properly. Then there's cortisol, the stress hormone. As the body ages, its ability to regulate cortisol efficiently begins to weaken. Normally, cortisol levels drop in the evening, allowing the body to unwind. But when the system is under chronic stress, which is often the case in adulthood due to work, finances, health concerns, or caregiving, cortisol levels remain elevated long into the night. High cortisol at bedtime is like a fire alarm going off in your brain. It tells the body to stay alert, not to relax. And even if you manage to fall asleep, that lingering stress keeps your sleep light, shallow, and easily interrupted. Hormonal changes also play a central role, particularly for women going through menopause and men experiencing andropause. In women, declining estrogen and progesterone levels can lead to night sweats, anxiety, and disrupted sleep architecture. In men, decreasing testosterone has been linked to reduced deep sleep, which is the most restorative phase of the sleep cycle. These aren't just hormonal symptoms, they are biological realities that shift how the brain and body operate during sleep. But it's not just about hormones. Lifestyle factors begin to creep in as well. Physical activity often declines with age, especially for those working long hours at a desk or managing chronic pain. Yet regular movement is essential for sleep regulation. It stimulates neurotransmitters like serotonin and helps regulate body temperature, which must drop at night for quality sleep to occur. Without that daily physical rhythm, the body loses. One more anchor for healthy rest. Diet also plays a more important role than most people realize. As metabolism slows, people often consume more processed foods, sugar, or alcohol, each of which can interfere with digestion and spike blood sugar levels during the night, creating sudden wakefulness. Poor gut health, inflammation, and nutritional deficiencies, especially in magnesium, B vitamins, and omega-3 fatty acids, can all disrupt sleep on a biochemical level, long before they're felt in any obvious way. In essence, aging doesn't cause insomnia directly. Rather, it creates the perfect storm of hormonal shifts, lifestyle changes, and environmental disruptions that together dismantle the natural sleep cycle. The process is slow, and because it's gradual, many people don't realize how significantly their biology has changed until they've gone years without a good night's sleep. Understanding these root causes is crucial, because without addressing them, no sleep trick, pill, or routine will ever fully restore deep, consistent rest. The good news is, once you identify the origins, you can begin to reverse them. And that journey starts with one essential truth, that sleep is not something you force, it's something you invite back. When the nights become unbearable and exhaustion takes hold, many people, perhaps even you, have reached for a pill. A small tablet promising what you crave most, sleep. For a time, it may seem like it works. You fall asleep faster, you wake up less often, and you think, maybe this is the answer. But is it? The truth about sleeping pills is far more complex and far more dangerous than most people realize. In fact, some of the very medications designed to help you sleep may be the very reason you're not healing from your sleep disorder at all. Let's begin with how these medications actually work. Most prescription sleep aids belong to a class known as benzodiazepines or Z-drugs. These include names like zolpidem, temazepam, and ezapicolone. They don't induce natural sleep. Instead, they sedate the brain. They suppress central nervous system activity, forcing your body into a kind of unconsciousness. And while that may appear to be sleep from the outside, what's happening inside is something very different. Natural sleep is divided into cycles: light, sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. These phases are essential for healing. Deep sleep repairs the body. REM sleep organizes and stores memory, stabilizes mood, and supports emotional regulation. But sleeping pills interfere with these cycles. They shorten REM sleep, They flatten deep sleep. What you're left with is a kind of shallow, artificial rest. You may not remember waking up, but your brain and body know the difference. Over time, these medications often create dependency. The body becomes less able to fall asleep on its own. Receptors in the brain adapt to the chemical input, demanding more to achieve the same effect. What began as a short-term solution turns into a nightly necessity and eventually a trap. The side effects are not just limited to addiction. Long-term use of sleeping pills has been linked to memory problems, cognitive decline, increased risk of falls in older adults, depression, and even higher mortality rates. The very tools used to fight insomnia can erode the mind and body they're meant to protect. And then there's the psychological impact. Once you begin to associate sleep with a pill, you slowly begin to lose faith in your body's ability to sleep naturally. You start to believe the lie that your brain is broken or that you've lost the gift of sleep forever. That belief is powerful and dangerous. Dr. Ben Carson has often spoken about the elegance and complexity of the human brain. As a neurosurgeon, he's seen firsthand how adaptable the mind can be, how resilient the nervous system is when given the right environment to thrive. And he, like many in the medical community, understands that treating the symptom without addressing the root cause is not healing, it's sedation. So if not pills, then what? That's the question we'll begin to answer in the next part of this video. Because the path to true, restorative sleep lies not in suppressing your nervous system, but in restoring balance to your body. It lies in understanding that your insomnia is not a disease. It's a signal, a cry for attention, a call to action. And if this message resonates with you so far, if you're finding real value in learning what's truly behind your sleepless nights, I'd like to ask something simple. Take a moment and subscribe to this channel. This is the kind of content we dedicate ourselves to. Honest, science-based, life-changing information for people who deserve to live and sleep well at every age. Your support helps this message reach others who might also be lying awake right now looking for answers. We've just begun to peel back the layers. In the next chapter, you'll learn why your body may be actively blocking sleep and what you can do to reverse that process. Stay with me. There is something deeply unsettling about lying in bed, exhausted but unable to sleep. It defies logic. If the body is tired, shouldn't it simply shut down and recover? Why does it resist the very thing it so clearly needs? The answer lies in one of the most misunderstood aspects of human biology. The body doesn't always prioritize rest. Sometimes, it prioritizes survival. Sleep, as vital as it is, becomes secondary when the brain perceives danger. And this is where things get interesting, because your brain doesn't just respond to physical threats. It responds just as strongly to emotional and psychological ones. Think about it. If you're overwhelmed with financial worry, relational conflict, work-related stress, or fear about your health or the future, your brain interprets those pressures as real threats. It doesn't know the difference between being chased by a predator and lying awake thinking about bills. In both cases, the response is the same. Keep the body alert. Keep the mind active. Stay awake. This is known as hyperarousal, and it's one of the core drivers of chronic insomnia. Hyperarousal is not a conscious choice. It's a state where the nervous system is stuck in a sympathetic mode, commonly referred to as fight or flight. Your heart rate remains slightly elevated. Your breathing becomes more shallow. Your muscles stay tense, even if you're lying still. And most critically, your brain continues cycling through thoughts, unable to fully power down. This state is deeply entrenched in people who have experienced long-term stress. And over time, it becomes automatic. Even after the stressful event has passed, the brain can remain on high alert, creating what's called conditioned insomnia, a pattern where the body begins to associate the bedroom itself with stress, wakefulness, and anxiety. To make matters worse, many people unknowingly reinforce this cycle through their nightly habits. Checking emails or scrolling through the phone right before bed floods the brain with blue light, suppressing melatonin production. Watching intense news or drama triggers emotional responses. Lying in bed awake for long periods builds frustration and reinforces the association between the bed and restlessness. The body starts to see sleep as a risk, not a reward. And without intervention, that pattern continues. But there's good news. Just as the brain can be conditioned into insomnia, it can also be reconditioned into sleep. The process begins with understanding that your body is not broken, it's protective. It's doing exactly what it thinks it needs to do to keep you safe. But what it needs now is a different signal, a message that says, it's okay to relax, it's okay to let go, the threat is gone. This shift doesn't come from force, it comes from creating the right environment, both internally and externally. And that leads us to one of the most effective, science-backed strategies for resetting your sleep system: calming the nervous system before bed. This can be done through simple, consistent techniques that send powerful signals to your body that it is in fact safe. Gentle breathing exercises, mindfulness meditation, progressive muscle relaxation, and grounding techniques all activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state that invites sleep instead of blocking it. And while these tools may sound simple, when practiced daily, they begin to undo years of accumulated hyperarousal. They reprogram your brain and body to once again recognize bedtime as a time for release, not vigilance. If you've struggled for years to sleep, know this: your body has not given up on you. It's been trying to protect you. Now it's time to teach it how to trust the night again. When people talk about improving sleep, they often think of bedtime as the only thing that matters: what time they lie down, what they eat before bed, what pillow they use. But the truth is, your sleep doesn't start at 10 p.m. It starts the moment you wake up. The body thrives on rhythm. In fact, your brain depends on it. The circadian rhythm, the internal clock we discussed earlier, needs consistency to operate correctly. And one of the biggest disruptions to sleep for people over 35 is not just what happens at night, but a lack of routine during the day. Let's begin with mornings. One of the most critical anchors for your internal clock is exposure to natural light in the morning. When you go outside, even for just 10 to 20 minutes within the first hour of waking, sunlight hits receptors in your eyes that signal to your brain it's daytime. That signal suppresses melatonin and boosts cortisol in the correct proportions, giving you energy during the day and helping reset your sleep-wake cycle. Without that exposure, your clock drifts. You feel sluggish during the day, and you stay alert at night. It's a silent sabotage that happens slowly but predictably. Then comes movement. Our bodies are designed to move, especially during the day. Regular physical activity, ideally before the afternoon, helps regulate temperature, hormones, and even digestion, all of which directly impact sleep quality. Exercise doesn't have to be intense. A brisk walk, stretching, or light strength training are often enough. The key is consistency. When your body gets used to moving at the same time every day, it learns to rest at the same time every night. Next is eating rhythm. Erratic eating schedules, late-night snacking, and heavy dinners can disrupt your internal clock and interfere with sleep. The body requires at least a few hours between your last meal and bedtime to fully shift into rest mode. This gives your digestive system time to complete its work and reduces the chance of blood sugar spikes that can cause middle-of-the-night wakefulness. Regular meal times, especially a high-protein breakfast and a light evening meal, help signal to your body what time it is and what it should be doing. But perhaps the most underestimated influence is mental rhythm. We often fill our days with scattered tasks, constant notifications, and emotional stimulation. By evening, the mind is so overstimulated that it resists shutting down. Establishing mental routines, quiet moments for reflection, a dedicated wind-down period, digital detox an hour before bed are essential. They give your mind a signal that the workday is over, that it's safe to relax, that rest is not only allowed but needed. All of these elements, Light, movement, food, and mental pacing form the rhythm that your body uses to regulate sleep. The more stable and predictable your day is, the more deeply your brain can rest at night. Sleep is not isolated. It's not an event that happens in the dark. It's the product of everything you do while you're awake. That's why creating a routine is not just helpful, it's transformational. It gives your body what it has been missing: predictability. And in a world full of chaos, the brain responds to predictability with relief. With that relief comes the return of what you've been longing for: peaceful, uninterrupted, natural sleep. If you've come this far, it means one thing. You're not just looking for a quick fix. You're looking for a real solution. A solution that respects your biology, honors your experience, and restores what insomnia has taken from you. And the truth is, real solutions do exist, but they don't come in a bottle. They come through strategy, consistency, and science-backed methods that work with your body, not against it. Let's begin with nutrition, because what you eat directly impacts how well you sleep. Your brain requires specific nutrients to produce melatonin and serotonin, key hormones involved in sleep regulation. Magnesium, for instance, is critical for calming the nervous system, relaxing muscles, and promoting deep sleep. Foods rich in magnesium include leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds, and dark chocolate. But many adults over 40 are deficient in magnesium due to poor soil quality, processed diets, and age-related absorption issues. Supplementation, under the guidance of a healthcare provider, can be life-changing for many. Then there's L-theanine, an amino acid found in green tea. Unlike caffeine, L-theanine promotes calm and focus without sedation. It helps reduce anxiety, improve relaxation, and can support better sleep quality, especially when taken in the evening. Glycine, another amino acid, has shown in studies to help lower core body temperature, a key signal that tells the body it's time to sleep. Just 3 grams before bed can help you fall asleep faster and enjoy deeper stages of sleep. And don't overlook omega-3 fatty acids. These powerful anti-inflammatory fats support brain health, reduce anxiety, and help stabilize the body's sleep. Architecture over time. Fatty fish like salmon, chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts are excellent sources. A consistent intake supports not only your heart and memory, but also your ability to stay asleep through the night. Adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha and rhodiola rosea have also gained traction in recent years, and for good reason. These natural compounds help modulate the stress response. They don't sedate you, they regulate you. They teach your body how to stay calm under pressure, and over time, how to exit the fight or flight mode more easily. But supplements alone are not the answer. They are tools, not cures. The foundation remains in lifestyle behaviors, sticking to a consistent sleep and wake time, avoiding screens and bright lights before bed, cultivating a dark, quiet, and cool sleeping environment, and developing an evening ritual that signals to your brain that the day is done. One of the most powerful yet overlooked strategies is CBTI, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. This is a structured, non-drug treatment that helps rewire the thought patterns and behaviors that fuel insomnia. It's supported by decades of research and is often more effective than medication in the long term. It teaches you how to break the cycle of fear, frustration, and failure that so often accompanies sleepless nights. Even simple adjustments in how you think about sleep can create a ripple effect of healing. Remember, your body knows how to sleep. It hasn't forgotten. It's simply been overwhelmed, under-supported, and misled. Now, it's time to return to what is natural, what is human, and what is possible. And as you apply these strategies, even slowly, even imperfectly, your body will begin to respond. Because sleep is not a privilege, it is a birthright. You've reached the end of this video, but in many ways you're standing at the beginning of something much more important: a new relationship with sleep and with your body. If you're like millions of others between the ages of 35 and 70, your sleepless nights have not just been inconvenient, they've been frightening, frustrating, and exhausting in the truest sense of the word. You've tried different remedies. You've questioned your mind, your body, even your worth. And somewhere along the way, you may have started to believe the worst, that this is just how it is now. But that belief is not the truth. The truth is that your body is always listening, always adapting, always ready to heal, if only given the chance. The symptoms you've been experiencing are not failures. They're messages. Messages that your nervous system needs regulation, that your hormones need support, that your mind needs peace, that your body is calling out for rhythm, nourishment, and trust. Healing from insomnia is not a race, it's a return to your natural state, where sleep arrives not as a struggle, but as a gift. And yes, it takes effort, it takes patience, it takes education, strategy, and above all, hope. But it also brings something profound in return: clarity, energy, emotional resilience, and the restoration of your most essential human need: rest. So as we close, here's what I want you to remember. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not stuck. You are a complex, beautiful system capable of healing, and your sleep, no matter how long it's been missing, can return. If this message has helped you, even in a small way, I ask you to share it with a friend, with a partner, with someone who may also be silently suffering, alone in the dark. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel. Not just for more content, but to join a growing community of people reclaiming their health and sleep, one night at a time. Your story isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. And tonight, when you lie down, I hope you do so with a little more trust in your body, a little more calm in your mind, and the knowledge that sleep, real, natural, healing sleep, is still possible for you. Thank you for watching.